Hey, it's Kellan again, and I'm here with some things that no one tells you about top surgery, but that you should probably know. Okay, so the first one I have for you is that you might not feel euphoric straight after your top surgery. I was kind of expecting to feel like this massive sense of euphoria when I first looked at my chest, and that didn't happen. I did wake up and I just cried because I felt so much relief that I'd had the surgery, and just looking down and seeing a flat chest, that was amazing. The first time I looked in the hospital mirror, I was kind of just like what? um, it was kind of like all concave in like random places and really dinty, and it just didn't look great. It was also quite swollen around like the top rib area. Is that your top rib? Like, I don't know, just like the side bit. It was almost like I had weird, it just looked like I had like pillows underneath my chest. It was so weird. I was worried as well that I didn't have this sense of like massive euphoria at seeing my chest, but I think it's really normal because at that point everything looks kind of weird and dinted and definitely not how it's gonna look forever at all. And not only that, but it's such a massive change. I don't think your brain is quite used to seeing your body like that. Like, even though, don't get me wrong, I was still like, yes, I've had top surgery. This is great. At the same time, it was just weird. Like, it just weirded me out still. So yeah, maybe don't go into it thinking that you're gonna get this massive euphoric moment and then feel kind of worried or disappointed when that doesn't happen. For me, my euphoria has kind of just come in waves after that, like seeing it heal up and seeing my nipple reveal at my 1 week post-op was like the most euphoric moment. But yeah, other than that, it's just been like trying new shirts on, having the fit be so much better, doing my sport, my jump rope, just shirtless, just catching yourself in the mirror in the morning. There's just all these little moments of euphoria rather than what I was expecting, with it being just like this massive change. I think for the most part, my chest now it felt so normal right from the get go. It almost felt like my chest had always been like that. It didn't feel like a massive change. I've dropped my name. Depending on how your surgeon likes to do things, you may or may not see your scars quite early on. My surgeon, Guy Stern, he uses internal tissue glue, so everything's kind of held together by glue at the front. So I saw my scars at the first point at 7 days post-op, and I wasn't quite mentally prepared for how gnarly and weird looking it would look. It was just so gnarly. Like, everything, it almost looked like it was still open in places, and you could kind of see like blood, and the glue was like all crispy and wrinkly, and it just looked really gross. And I wanted to take photos, but I was so grossed out by it that I couldn't. Like, I didn't want to touch them. But yeah, don't freak out, because oftentimes that's going to be the glue or like adhesive stitches or something. Like, it's not actually, your scars aren't that gnarly, it's just the glue. Or well, it wasn't my case. I was prepared for swelling. I was prepared to see it swell up and stay swollen for a good, few weeks, months. I wasn't prepared for my swelling to come in and go down unevenly, and that really freaked me out, because I was like, shit, I'm gonna be uneven for like the rest of my life. But it is not that case. My right side has been slower at healing for some odd reason than my left side. My right side is actually still at, what am I now, 8.5 weeks. My right side is still a bit more swollen than my left on both my chest and my hips. Initially though, my left side on my chest on the side was a bit sorer, and a bit more swollen. It actually almost looked like I had this weird under boob for like quite a few weeks. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I just had this, what looked like a massive flabby bit of, not flabby, puffy bit of under boob, and it freaked me out because I was like, what if he's left tissue there that shouldn't be there, but it just went down. But yeah, be prepared to kind of see healing happen at slightly different rates on different sides of your body. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's got something to do with circulation. That's one of my theories. Or who knows? Maybe it's how much you move your arms. Yeah, and as well with nipple scabs, they may not fall off at exactly the same rates either. So you might have one nipple that looks really dark and scabbed up, and the other that's like half a scab or not a scab, and it probably will look really weird, but that's okay. Be prepared to maybe have that happen to you. Okay, so this is one that I knew could happen, but I thought it was just for people on T, where people are like, oh, my chest has suddenly got really hairy. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. There's some scientific evidence that your breast tissue converts excess estrogen into testosterone. So there's like some localized hormonal effects. But I wasn't expecting it for me because I'm not on T. I thought it was just going to be guys that were like, or non-binary people that were on T, and then it kind of encouraged hair growth. I've got some hair growing in, and I'm literally only at just over 8 weeks. It's not thick, it's not like super visible. Like if I showed you now on camera, it probably wouldn't come up. But it's kind of like my leg hair. It's kind of like along my incisions and kind of slightly up and in the middle of my chest. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I'm pretty cool with it. Like, it's pretty cool. I'm kind of hoping that when I go on T, it will get thicker and look really masculine. So in a way, I'm pretty happy with it. It feels quite gender affirming, I guess. I'm not sure if maybe like massaging the scars also helps encourage hair growth. I've heard certain chemicals, I think it's rosemary oil, can help stimulate hair growth. So maybe that plus like the mechanical action of just massaging encourages hair growth. But even so, there's definitely been like a big hair growth that I'm seeing that is definitely not just to do with that. And I definitely didn't have thick hair on my chest at all, like whatsoever, before my op. So it's all come in the last 8 weeks. Okay, this next one is a fun one. When you start massaging your scars can pop, like audibly. The first time it happened to me was a bit disconcerting. I was like, I'm not sure your body's meant to pop when you massage it, but as far as I'm aware and as far as I've looked into it, it's just dissolvable stitches kind of breaking apart and getting broken down as you massage, so it's nothing to worry about as long as you're not experiencing like pain or discomfort with it. In actual fact, my scars felt softer and less hard, like less like kind of hard scar tissue after it popped. I got to the point where I was like waiting for it to pop. It was really satisfying. After your surgery, you can have some weird effects happening. One of those is dry skin, and straight after your op, it's quite common apparently to have hot flushes. And I hadn't heard of this when I went in for my surgery. So I think it was the day after my op, and I was exploding. Like, I was so red in the face, I was like a tomato. And I was like opening all the windows, and like I couldn't bear to put a top on hardly. And I was just like to the nurse, I was like, is it normal to be this hot? Like, I feel like I'm going to explode. And she kind of just looked at me like, yeah, but maybe not this much. And I tend to run quite hot sometimes and get like flushed, like Asian flush. So maybe it was just me, but apparently in assigned female at birth people, getting hot flushes after surgery, after anaesthesia, is quite common. Just be prepared for that maybe happening, and don't worry that you're dying, because it is pretty normal. The last one I've got for you is like a maybe one. So I feel like my voice has got lower since my op. I don't think that's a normal one. And I don't know whether it's just because I felt like my voice was really croaky after the op, which is normal. But then I feel like it's gone down and it's almost like broken a little bit again. Like, my voice has always been really low. So I'm kind of like, maybe it was just always this low and I'm just more comfortable in my body now, and to talk like this, or whether it was actually just on like a breaking point naturally and it's just broken a bit. So I don't know. It could be either or both of those. Maybe the anesthesia and the op, or hormones has somehow shifted it. So who knows? Anyway, I hope some of those were interesting to you, and I'll see you again later. Bye.